What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now for this video, we're going to be jumping into some more of the Infinite Frontier with the Justice League issue number 61. Now if you haven't been keeping up with this line, go ahead and check out the link in the description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that's been going on in the Infinite Frontier line. Now this also will feature some Justice League Dark at the end of the issue. Now this is written by Brian Bendis, and Justice League Dark is written by Ram V. Now Ram V has done some amazing writing, and I think he's doing really well on Justice League Dark. If you haven't checked out his Swamp Thing, go ahead and check out that as well. I have a playlist for that. I'll leave it down in the description because his Swamp Thing really is top notch and a lot of people have been sleeping on it. But with this Justice League issue, in the last one, it left us off with Naomi and the Justice League along with Black Adam making their way to Naomi's homeworld to kind of shut off the gateway that allowed Brutus to make his way to Earth. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so issue number 61, it picks us up with Brutus. Brutus talking to McMurph. Now, McMurph is the one that has been making it possible for Brutus to teleport to this Earth, to our Earth. Now, Brutus, he wants to go back again. He wants to go for a third time. But the issue is, it is taking so much to send him. You know, this is a newly invented thing, and it's not something that they can just do. It takes a lot of power to be able to transport somebody. But Brutus swears by it. He swears that the Earth that Superman and the Justice League come from, that it's worth it. He just needs a little bit of time. He needs to be able to scope the place out a little bit before the Justice League attacks him. If he could have an opportunity to plan, he swears that he would be able to take over this Earth. And that this Earth is so magnificent, it is so perfect, that it is completely worth fighting for. You know, their planet was pretty much destroyed because of superpowers. But Brutus believes that their prize for surviving the brutality that happened on their planet, he believes that that prize is Earth. Now, in the middle of this discussion, we see their sun, and their sun starts to surge. And in it surging, we see a little bit of concern in their faces, a concern that Brutus may have been followed by the Justice League. And this is where we pick up with the Black Canary. Because as it stands, when they all teleported to this planet, they were all separated. They were all dropped into different locations. And we see Black Canary, she's stumbling to her feet. She's making herself stand up and she looks around. She looks around calling for anybody that may be able to hear her. And in doing this, some of the locals show up. Some of the locals who are kind of like the henchmen for Brutus. Now these guys, they really think that it's just going to be easy. That they're going to tag and bag her. They're going to grab her, take her back to Brutus, and maybe get a good pat on the back from him. Now Canary, she lets them know, you know, this isn't something we want to do. Just leave me alone and we can call it a day. But they decide to take their chances. And this is where we see them rush in to grab Black Canary, for her only to do her canary screech, and it sends them flying in all directions. Now this is where we pick up with Batman and Naomi. Batman sitting up on the buildings, watching as Naomi is getting surrounded and something is going on with her. Her hands seem to be phasing in and out, almost as if they're going invisible. And she's panicking right now. She doesn't really understand what's going on with her. And this is when they see a black smoke surround all around Naomi, and Naomi disappear only for there to be a batarang left sitting in the cement. And as these men approach it, getting closer and closer, they go to investigate it, they go to touch it, and it detonates. And this is where Batman starts talking to Naomi. And right now she's freaking out. She's having an anxiety attack. You know, her hands are phasing in and out. She doesn't really understand what's going on. She feels kind of weird. So everything's just a little bit off. You know, and this is the planet where her parents were literally murdered. So she's having a whole rush of emotions and doesn't know how to keep herself in check. And this is where Batman looks directly in her face and he says one simple word. He tells her DuckTales. And Naomi, she lets him know, like, oddly enough, that actually work? Like, why did that work? And Batman said, I don't know, it just does. Like, remember that for future reference. DuckTales. But Naomi lets him know, like, that there's still something wrong with her. And Batman tells her simply, like, just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it, and if something changes, you have to let me know. And this is when they hear the Canary's sonic scream. And this is good news. This is good news because that means Black Canary is nearby and they want to make their way over there. But this is when Batman hears a transmission coming in from Superman. Because right now Superman is flying up in the sky with his eyes closed. See, the thing about this place is all of our heroes that have superpowers, they've been experiencing kind of a surge in power, like too much power, an overload of power, if you will. And Superman, his issue is that his heat vision, it's just doing its own thing. It's going off without him being able to stop it. And so right now he's flying through the sky with his eyes closed, unable to do anything about it. And Batman tells him to try to focus his eye line. Try to get it into focus to where he doesn't have to worry about this. That everything's a little out of whack right now. And so his vision probably is as well. And as he slowly starts to open his eyes up, this is when he sees a gigantic fist coming straight for his face. Because as he opens his eyes up, this is where he sees Brutus. And Brutus knocks Superman for a gigantic upper punch. And Brutus, he's happy. He's happy that Superman is here, that they've come here, because it makes it easier for him to just kill them on his own turf. And this is where we pick up with the Green Arrow. Now the Green Arrow, he's starting to come to consciousness, and he runs into the same thing the Black Canary did. Except they're picking up his bow, trying to use it, only to find out that it only works with Ollie's fingerprints. And it immediately shocks these guys, and he starts just laying haymakers down on all of Brutus's henchmen. While Oliver Queen is busy doing that, this is where we pick up with Arthur. This is where we pick up with Aquaman. And he's sitting here on his knees, tears coming from his eyes, and he says only one word. He says death. And this is when he falls to the ground, seemingly unconscious. Now this is where we see Hawkgirl, Black Canary, and Green Arrow all starting to meet up. Our heroes are finally starting to find one another and get back at it. But this is when they look over and see Brutus just literally mopping the floor with Superman. And Superman, he's getting wrong right now. And Brutus lets Superman know, like, he can tell that they are the ones. They had these kind of individuals here on this planet as well. You know, this fight was inevitable. One way or another, they were going to end up fighting one another. He's just glad that it's on his turf. Now, as Superman is sitting here just looking rough, looking beat down, this is when we see the arrival of Black Adam. And Black Adam has come to wreak some havoc. Now, as all of this is going on, the rest of the Justice League, they found one another. They found each other, and this is when they see a giant energy blast coming from the location of where Brutus and Black Adam are. And so the Justice League, they make their way over there. They hightail it as fast as they possibly can, arriving, seeing that they're just moments too late, because they arrive to find both Superman and Black Adam laid out on the ground. And Brutus's thoughts are, if he takes out all of the Justice League right here and now, Earth is his. And that will be the end of this issue. And this is where we jump into some Justice League Dark. Now, in the last issue of Justice League Dark, we saw Merlin pulling at a lot of strings. And in doing so, we see a bookstore come to life with all of the mystical stories inside of these books. And luckily enough, Ragman happened to be here to take these things on. And that's exactly where this picks us up. It picks us up with Ragman fighting all kinds of mystical monsters. Now, for the most part, it looks like he's being able to handle himself. But these guys just keep coming, one after another. They're not stopping. And he's getting tired. He's getting exhausted. But this is when he sees the arrival of the Justice League Dark. And they come in and they start wreaking havoc. Now, as this fight is going on, John Constantine tells Zatanna, like, go ahead and try to put these stories back into their books. If Merlin brought them out, they must have a way of going back in. And this is where we see her use her magic, and all of the stories, they kind of vanish. And this is where they make their way inside the bookstore, talking to Ragman, and Ragman trying to get filled in on exactly what's going on here. Now, Detective Chimp, he finds some manuscripts, and Jason Blood, he lets us know that this is Merlin. It's all Merlin. He's trying to recover all of his objects of power. Now, up to this point, they believed that the Eternity book had been destroyed, and they believed that it was not recoverable. And as for the alchemy stone, that's where we pick up where Sir Elnara. She's the 13th knight of Arthur's Round Table. And we see her making her way to Gotham City. Now, Detective Chimp, he starts breaking it down for us. You know, if he were a magician and he wanted to find a book that was definitely destroyed, where would he go? No, there's only one place that you could go to still find the book. An infinite library, a place where every book that has every word ever written. So by definition, this would be a place that would hold a book such as this, such as the Eternity book. And so they get the idea. They get the idea to use Houdini's key and go into these pages. Going into these pages, it walks them into the Eternal Library, a giant sphere of hexagons known as the Library of Babel. Now, they know Merlin should be able to find his spell book relatively easy, but the question is, how do they find Merlin? But that's the thing, they can't. You know, this is like an infinite maze, and there's no logical way that they could ever find him in here. But there is someone that could tell them how to find Merlin. And perhaps if they help the bookkeepers, if they help the librarians, that might be able to give them the opportunity to have somebody on their side. Because right now, all of the librarians, all of the bookkeepers, they're under attack by all of these monsters that Merlin has sent here. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. You know, personally, I've been enjoying both of these. I've been enjoying the Justice League and the Justice League Dark. You know, the Justice League has been really putting Naomi forward. You know, we got a little bit of a story from her, but I love that they're now incorporating her into the Justice League as a whole and introducing us to, her whole homeworld. But the Justice League Dark, I am really enjoying. I'm really wishing that it would get some full series, full pages, full 22, 24 pages, because it really deserves it. Ram V is just such an amazing writer, and he does such a great job at writing DC Comics. And it's definitely more on the darker side, the more grittier side of comics that he writes on, such as Swamp Thing and the Justice League Dark. But he writes it really well. He truly does understand how to write these characters, and I've thoroughly enjoyed everything he's done up to this point. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you haven't yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell. Please make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.